We don't hear much about it on the news, but there are growing reports of road rage, especially on Interstate 81. Now, we know this stretch of highway is in desperate need of widening and upgrade, but can this curb this growing problem? And where will we get the money for the improvements? What are your thoughts, Ashley? We're throwing everything to you tonight.
Yeah, you get
Ashley
everything.
Ashley never comes on the
I'm
show.
so
I'm feeling neglected.
You know what? This is a tough issue, and I don't think that we can have this discussion without recognizing what our neighboring states have done to alleviate the issues.
West Virginia's ahead of us, aren't they?
West Virginia is way ahead of us. Pennsylvania is somewhat behind us, or right about on the same.
They're about,
right about
they're
the
right
same.
equal with us, I think.
And I think that
a lot of talk.
I think that that's been the excuse for not taking the widening of 81 seriously over the past couple years, because it's like, well, you do it first, Pennsylvania, and we all know that that's not going to happen. So it definitely is a very dangerous interstate. I drive all the interstates, and 81 is by far the scariest.
And it's the ironic thing is, from about, I don't know, Winchester to Harrisonburg on down, it's a fine stretch of highway that hardly anybody uses. But boy, you get to Harrisonburg up, and it's death race 2000.
I'm telling you, last night, and just to tell you, Tuesday I was in Fredericksburg, Virginia, in Spotsylvania, and I left there about 9:30 Tuesday evening. When I got to probably, I was probably about 50 miles outside of Fredericksburg when the rain hit, and it was a downpour like the entire time till I got to Winchester, because I was taking 17 and 622 and trying to get to 81 instead of going up around the Beltway. But I'm telling you, when I got on 81, I honestly had to drive like this because it was nothing but tractor and trailer city. I mean, and it was raining, so you had all the spray from that. There are sections of 81 currently, especially if you're in the left-hand lane, that aren't quite done yet, okay, or else are being repaved, one or the other. But you talk about water lying in there, it was like driving through a creek.
Well, and the issue with road rage there is this. If you try to do the right thing and keep any kind of distance between you and the car in front of you, people cut you off on there, and they just keep filling in. It's just, you almost have to be bumper to bumper to protect your own time frame.
It doesn't help either that if you drive 2 minutes, from West Virginia to Maryland, you're going from a 70-mile-per-hour speed limit down to a 60-mile-per-hour speed limit, and then back up again to 65 as soon as you hit Pennsylvania.
So is the answer then just widening the roads, in which case it'll take it for years for that to happen, or are there some other answers we can look at in the interim?
I certainly think that widening the, I guess, the transition between the 70-mile-per-hour speed limit to the 60-mile-per-hour speed limit.
When we talk about, the amount of truck transportation that happens in this country, and I can tell you by looking at Interstate 81, it's a tremendous amount. And we've discussed for years, and there's been some improvement in using rail as opposed to tractor and trailers. But you're always going to need them, because how else do you get the product to the rail? And so you're always going to have them.
The rails are doing all the intermodals that they possibly can.
I think they are too, yeah.
So,
I'll tell you what, I sat at a train stop on 17 that was 35 minutes. I sat there for that train. Now, granted, he was only doing like a mile and a half an hour for some reason. I don't know why, but it was just amazing to me how long it took. But as far as road rage goes, I don't see it because I don't travel 81 a whole lot, okay? I could tell you last night that when I finally got to the Williamsport exit, I got off of 81. I just had to get off. I'd had enough.
We drove back from Gatlinburg after July 4th, and again, I was fine until we got just north of Harrisonburg, and I'm like, man, settle in, because this is going to be bad for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know what to do about it.
The rain didn't help at all.
No, it didn't.
I mean, we also have to recognize that there have been some relatively recent stressors onto that corridor as well. Exit 6A, 6B, those are relatively new.
Wait till Procter & Gamble opens up, and those 1,000
Where's that
jobs.
opening up?
Marksburg. Of course.
There's been big developments in Martinsburg as well. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of things developing in that
You know,
10-mile stretch of I-81
On a-
that
On a
causes a lot
side,
of stress.
a side note, because I know we're running out of time, talk about a welcome to Maryland. That 81 bridge into Maryland. Good grief, I think I lost a part of the car. So-
Not to flip it back on Baltimore, but I will say that that Baltimore streets
Oh, they're terrible.
make that bridge
They're
look
terrible.
like smooth as silk.
Well, anyway, let's wrap this one up. So, but stay tuned because guess what's next? Last call.
Do you suffer from